Hey! Hello! Welcome, everyone. Hi. Sorry I had to take a couple of personal days. Things were a little bit fucky there for a minute, but hi! Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I am here, ordained in the greenest thing that I could make in a very short span of time. So yeah, we are going to be doing the full burst of the Soulsborne tiers list for the bosses. From Demon Souls all the way to Elden Ring. Now, there's a fair bit here to cover. Ignore the excessively loud noise. It doesn't mean anything, I promise. There's not a bombing run happening over my house at all. But yeah, the thing is already made, but I need to explain a few things as to why it is this way. So, what do you say we just get a little bit into this, huh?
Hello, Ed Boy!
D-Man, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Welcome. Please, enjoy the emotes. There's a new one, by the way. There's a new one. A friend of mine went and happened to that, so please, enjoy the new one as well. Let me post that myself. There you go. Look at him. The poor boy, L after L, made by the wonderful Kilto over on Twitter. If you are so inclined, her commissions are open, last I was aware, but please, enjoy it for your time being. But yeah, boys, let's get into it, huh? When? So, starting right off, in no particular order, the not a boss category. These are just regular enemies that they decided to put a boss health bar on. In no particular order, because they all have the same problem. I can't believe they stuck a health bar on patches, man. I really can't believe it. Ugh. So, for all of these, there's really not much to go over. Again, just... there's nothing to them. They're very plain. There's nothing extra attached to them, even. God, the ones in the Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne are probably the worst on this, but they're just... nothing to write home about, you know? Nothing special. But getting into it proper, the Cancer tier, the lowest of the low, I think the Mimic tiers are just the worst boss in the entire franchise. I think they really are. It's just you. You can take off your armor and just trivialize the whole fight before it starts. They stand no chance. You had an opportunity to make a good doppelganger boss fight, right? And instead of doing anything, like, interesting with it, they still just use the regular player moveset, but... Next up, the Headless. Every variety of Headless in Sekiro. Not great. Not an interesting moveset anytime they come up. Instant death mechanics, never fun. Never have been. Never will be. Not good. Royal Revenant. Too spammy. Unless you know exactly what you're doing, this thing is just... annoying as sin? To put it mildly? They just never stop. They never stop. Not for a second. They just keep going, they keep doing their dumb little flail arm attack, and then anytime you get any good chunk of damage, they just teleport away and do the poison. It's the worst. Clean Rot Knight Duo. For most of the duo boss fights, they're gonna be down here, like, pretty goddamn low. They're a slightly adjusted version of just regular Clean Rot Knights. Their movesets are adjusted so they're actually complementing each other a little bit, but beyond that, just... it's too basic, right? There's just nothing there. Moonlight Butterfly. Use magic, otherwise the fight's gonna take an eternity. What were you thinking? It only gets down to the bridge every, what, minute and a half, 2 minutes? Why would you do this? Miko Lash. He's just using the player moveset, but he runs away for the entire fight. That's it. I hope you have enough health to tank that... what? I don't even remember the name of the spell. You know, the Starburst thing that you can do in Bloodborne? That one is not good. That's about the only measure of difficulty the fight has, because everything else you can deal with. He's barehanded. He just uses magic. Ugh. Could have been so much better. Host of the Nightmare! You could have given it an actual moveset. Royal Rat Authority. This boss fight would be up 2 tiers if it wasn't for the 4 rat dogs that spawn at the start that cause toxic. It's so much better without them. Don't put ads in your boss fight. Don't do it. Otherwise, it's just... Aside from that, it's fine. Like, it really is. It's just that one thing that makes it the worst ever. You know? True King Allant. The actual final boss of Demon Souls. It might be the easiest fight in the entire series. It might actually be. I have never seen anyone in like a decade and a half, I've never seen anyone die to this boss once. It's just a slug in a tiny, like, 10-foot room. With no health, does no damage. It's the culmination of everything the game was building up to. It's just a pile of sludge. Good job. Executioner's Chariot. Gimmick fight's bad. It's a different gimmick than most of the boss fights in the series that have one, but... Either you play along with the gimmick, and you go around in a big circle. This fight has ads too, that bother you the whole time. Not good. Close the gate, stop the actual thing so you don't die in like 1 or 2 hits from the chariot running you over. Sometimes the alcoves just don't have a big hitbox on them. I think there's one specifically in one of the corners that just, for some reason, is smaller than the rest of them. And then you fight a horse. Or you can do the secret thing and damage the boss regularly while it's going around in a circle, and then when you... I think it's when you close the gate, then the horse hangs over the edge and you just hit it a couple times and you win instantly. Bad boss. Bed of Chaos. It's the one everyone always complains about with DS1. It's the only boss that's like this in the whole series, and I think that explains a lot as to why they never tried it again. If it just took normal damage, like if you just took swipes at the roots when they're like slapping you around while the arena collapses around you so you don't die instantly, and at least move it up 1 tier. Instead, you just go left, you go right, you go center. Remember to jump over the gap that forms right in front of you while you're sprinting towards it, otherwise you have to do it again. I can't believe they got away with it. It's the one everyone complains about. I've never even seen any mods take a crack at Bed of Chaos that alter it in any meaningful way. The only one I've seen is putting an extra Pyromancer Witch in the arena with... And that's just adding on to the list of problems, isn't it? Bellbearing Hunter. Copy and pasted version of an already bad boss with an incomprehensible moveset that hits you from 1,000 miles away with adjusted stats. Never been good, not even for a moment. Alright. Well, the absolute dregs are out of the way. This is probably going to be a shorter stream, by the way. Feel free to interrupt me, by the way, if I sound like an asshole, but... Moving on. I should probably turn that off, shouldn't I? It's just kind of in the way. Where are you? There you go. Get rid of that. Just for the time being. Next up in the tiers. Seath. Seath was never good. Seath was never a good boss fight. His body, like, spiraling around in a circle nonsensically moves you around. You know, I'm wondering if the whole thing would be up a tier if it weren't for the whole immortality break the crystal thing you have to do at the start. Actually, I don't remember. Does that stay broken if you have to retry the fight? It's been so long, I don't even remember. Either way, he's too big for his own good for the room you fight him in. If the fight had some, like, notion of verticality to it, like if there was a big staircase around the whole thing, maybe that'd do a little bit better. At present, it's just annoying. Lud and Zullen. This is the optional boss for the Crown of the Ivory King in DS2. It's a duo copy-paste of a pre-existing boss. Don't do copy-paste duo fights. Ever. Just don't. Please. Otherwise it just becomes utter chaos, and pray to God you summoned the... I forget, is it Vengarl? You can summon Vengarl for this fight, and that makes it marginally less of a problem, but... If you have to have backup just to not get spammed to death in a boss fight, I feel like you're not answering the problems with that boss fight to begin with. God-Devouring Serpent / Rykard, gimmick boss bad. The Carp in Sekiro. The underwater controls in Sekiro are bad. Please, don't. Just don't. You can see why they didn't bring back swimming for Elden Ring. It never worked out. Merciless Watchers. This is the trio version, right? Yeah, absolutely. Arisu, hello, welcome. Please, enjoy my ranting for the time being. It's gonna go by a little bit. Also, this needs to be adjusted just a little bit. Is there a reason this is not, like... I can't adjust this for some reason. Right. Okay, there it is. Adjust you, move you over a little bit. I just noticed that. Okay. Merciless Watchers. It's just 3... They're unique enemies, so they don't count as down in the not a boss tier, but they have such low health that they're never going to be a problem for anyone. At present, they're just annoying, but they're not an actual threat. Folding Screen Monkeys. Gimmick boss bad, but it's a unique spin on gimmick boss bad. You have to chase them and sneak around, so that's something more than nothing. Again, you're not going to die, it's just annoying. Witch of Hemwick. The only cool thing Witch of Hemwick has going for it is after you kill the witch and the second health bar comes up. Good surprise. Other than that, it's just... don't get stun locked by the regular enemies that start spawning in the room. Nothing else going on for it. Crystal Sage. Copies of itself and it teleports around to avoid damage. If there was something else going for it, it would be a little bit higher, but... again, just annoying as sin. Ruined Sentinels. Ruined Sentinels would be up at least 1 tier if it weren't for the floor at the start. You know how it has that whole broken porch, I guess, as soon as you enter the boss room, and the first one takes a big overhead swing at you at the very start? If that was, like, 4 times the size it was, then at least alleviate a good chunk of the problems that fight has, but... at present, they're just... if you fall off, then you have to do a 3-on-1, and that's just inexcusable. Otherwise, if you take out the first one, then the other 2 start coming at you. At least in a somewhat comprehensible order, but... you could have had something special here, but... you just did the basic routine. Belfry Gargoyles. It's just a worse version of the Belfry Gargoyles in DS1. There's more of them and they have less stats. That's about it. That's the whole problem. Tibia Mariner. Every version of Tibia Mariner in Elden Ring. You can't even riposte them when you stance break them. And they summon adds the whole fight. Was that? Oh, it's a tier list. This is me ranting incomprehensible while I'm sleep deprived. That's what this is. Covetous Demon. Jabba the Hutt is not a good boss fight. I don't think I've ever seen anyone die to this thing either. I really don't think I have. He's too slow and lumbering for it to be a problem. You have so much room to work with in the boss fight. And he's too slow to get to you at any point. He has 1 poison spit attack, but its hitbox is so tiny, I don't think I've ever been hit by it in my entire career. Jesus Christ. Curse Rod and Greatwood. You know, the ads at the start of the Curse Rod and Greatwood fight are not a real problem because the boss doesn't activate until you're, like, right in its face. So, not too much of an issue compared to other ads in boss fights, but the problems are really just the weak points it has going for it. You can't reach half of them because they're, like, higher up on its branches or on the upper part of the leg. If you could, that'd be... I'd probably at least move it up to bad. If its weak points were all lower end, you're making tea. I could go for some tea, I'll be honest. My throat's a little bit hoarse today, as it were, but... yeah. The second phase of the fight is better. If you just started the whole thing off with the big hand out so it had a constant hitbox, that'd help alleviate most of its problems, but as it stands, it's just... I hesitate to say annoying, because the boss fight itself is really easy? I guess just tedious? Tedious is probably a better word. Skeleton Lords. unique enemy variant that doesn't show up anywhere else, but again, the ads. I'll give it credit. The ads only spawn in response to one of the Skeleton Lords dying, so that's a little bit more lenient, but it's just not great. They do unique attacks, like they have fireballs. I think they're the only skeletons I've ever seen with fireballs in these games. I guess that's kind of cool. Dirty Colossus. It's the most bland moveset I think I've ever seen. I don't think anyone's ever died to Dirty Colossus. Again, it's another one. I don't think it does any status build-up either, does it? It's been a while since I've played through Demon Souls and I haven't played the remake. Maybe they adjusted it there, I really don't know. Dirty Colossus is just not great. It hits like a wet nap, you know? Compared to everything else in the swamp prior to that, it's just the worst thing you can possibly end off on. Just got home? Hi, Vakari. Welcome home. I need like a drink quick before my throat gives out. Holy Christ. Come here, off-brand Dr. Pepper. Away with you. The box is empty now. Cool green? Thank you. It is in fact St. Patrick's Day, so I had to dress up a little bit. I need to give this a good swig. One moment. I'm in pain. Capra Demon. Am I beating a dead horse by talking about Capra Demon at all? Because everyone's made the same complaints. The room is too tiny and it has two dogs that just kill you as soon as you get through the door. It's like instant reaction time or you're dead. If the dogs didn't aggro until you were through the doorway, this would probably be fine. If the dogs weren't there at all, I'd move it up to the mediocre tier, but... Because Capra Demon's a fine, like, boss. They remixed it for Elden Ring, and we'll get to that in due time, but... It's the boss that filters everyone when they play through DS1, you know? No one understands it. Why would you ever do this? My voice is, like, being destroyed right now, and I don't know why. The rage consumes me. Dragon God, gimmick boss bad. You just sneak around for a little bit, try to make no noise. The only time you want to is when you need to get him to punch the rubble to clear the way. There's a lot of bosses people hate. Probably more than I hate. I'm not big on a lot of them. Then you walk over to those big ballistas, right? And then you pin him into place, and then you slap his face a little bit, and then run away from him because his breath is enough to do damage to you. And substantial damage from what I remember. You had a boss with this design named Dragon God, and you wasted it on a stealth gimmick. How could you? How could you do this, Miyazaki? You want to pat the boy, Vakari? There you go. There you go, I'll move that over a little bit. Oh yes, that's better. Game journalists. The living failures are... They're too lumbering to be of any real challenge. There's a few of them in the fight that probably helps it a little bit. They're too slow to hit you with as fast as you move in Bloodborne. And when they do their big, like, meteor AoE, all you have to do is stand behind the big flower in the middle of the arena. Capra Demon's a good boss fight, in my opinion, if you just need to take control of the fight's pace and let him get control of the pace battle, you're losing it. Again, the dogs. The dogs are the real problem with it. It's the one problem everyone seems to have. You know what? Speaking of Capra Demon, because I remember there's a mod for DS1 that changes it, so there's a bonfire in that room instead, and you fight Capra Demon out in the courtyard in that area. That's so much better. Ranting about that's done. I kind of went over every problem with living failures. They're just too easy. Phalanx. Use fire, otherwise you're gonna take an eternity. It's just a swarm of regular enemies that you can't face fuck unless you're using fire. It just seems weird as a first proper boss, right? You never really have to do that with any other enemy type in the game. I guess except for players, maybe? Maybe that's what they were going with? But, eh. Celestial Emissary. It's kind of a repeat of the rat boss fight that we kind of went over very, very quickly in the Not a Boss tier. It's a bunch of regular Martian enemies that you fought already, and then one of them gets substantially larger over the course of the fight, but it's just too slow to actually hit you. That's the primary issue with lumbering bosses in Bloodborne. You're just too fast for it to be an interesting dynamic. Adjudicator. Adjudicator has more problems than I feel like anyone ever goes over. Like, I get the gimmick. You slap him in his big belly wound until he takes a knee, and then you hit the bird, and that's the actual damage. The thing that I never understood is the verticality in this fight, or lack thereof. You start on a big staircase, and then you have to go down to where he is while he's trying to jump attack you the whole time, before the actual fight can start. The issue is, if you have verticality in the fight, why can't you just fight him on the second layer of stairs where you're, like head length with him? Other than that, it's just a tedious gimmick boss. Finally, moving up to the bad tier, we have Rom, the good boy spider himself. There's a little bit of uniqueness here, because the fight doesn't start until you actually take a swing on him. There's only a couple other bosses in this franchise that do that. Aside from that, it's just a don't get fucked by the multitude of regular spiders that start spawning. And that one... when he summons meteors from below him is the AoE I'm thinking of, where if you're close, you just can't dodge it. It can't be done. It lasts too long, and it's too big to get away from. Elden Ring's taken up a lot of the bad slots right here. That might just be due to the primary problem with Elden Ring, which is copy-paste bosses. The Troll. The stone-digging troll. It's a regular troll enemy from other parts of the game. They just stuck super armor on it so your weapon bounces off of it unless you're using a colossal. Annoying, to say the least. Aside from that, it's just a regular troll enemy. Crucible Knight and the Misbegotten. Yeah, this is the one you fight in the courtyard at Redmane, before or after the Radon Festival. It can be done either way. It's just two normal bosses that they stuck together. Don't do that. The only, positive is that the Crucible Knight doesn't spawn for, 30 seconds, so you can 1v1 the Misbegotten for that length of time, but there's not much else going on with it. Tree Sentinel Duo. The only thing that I can say positive is that one of them has a torch instead of the big shield. That's the only positive. Otherwise, it's just... enemies on horseback have one or two problems. Either the horse AI isn't tuned to fight you when you're not on a horse, or the problem that this one has where they swarm you non-stop. Also, pray to God you don't wander too far down the stairs from the knights you may or may not have ran past, because two of those have great bows, and that's just going to make the fight impossible. Ulcerated Tree Spirit. Every variant of the Ulcerated Tree Spirit was not fun at all. It has an AoE that it does sometimes, and I can't figure out what the trigger for it is. Don't get command grab. Otherwise, you're done. When you make a boss with an incomprehensible form with an incomprehensible moveset, maybe don't make its hitboxes the size of the sun. The two Abductor Virgins in the Volcano Manor, right. These are the ones you have to take the shortcut in the Academy to get to. It's just a couple of Abductor Virgins that have a little bit more health. They're the two different variants, so they complement each other more than not at all. Aside from that, they don't really have a lot going on. It's just kind of bad. Tricia and the Misbegotten. You stuck a regular enemy in a room with a boss, and the regular enemy buffs the boss with a shield. Not great. Omen Killer and the Miranda Flower. Kind of the same deal, but with AoEs instead of a shield. Grafted Scion. I don't get why people like Grafted Scion. I don't understand. All it does is spam, like, flurry attacks. If you lean on one side, you might not have much of a problem, but why would you make this the first boss? The series has had, like, a wide tradition of using some big lumbering something or other for the first boss so you can get adjusted. And then here they just decided to make it the complete opposite. And I don't very much appreciate that. The part that weirds me out is there are variants of the Grafted Scion you can fight later in the game that don't have a buff that this one has. I think only one other one has the boss now, has the buff now that I think about it. What? It's a confusing choice. Not great. The Burial Watchdog duo. It's just the Burial Watchdogs, but there's two of them. Crystallion Trio. The Crystallion Trio, except there's three of them, and this one does rot buildup, if I'm not mistaken. Crystallion Duo. Same deal. Two of them, no rot. Better boss fight in general. Still bad, though. The Nox Duo. Their movesets are pretty cool. And if this had started out as a boss where you 1v1 one or the other, and then you can introduce them as normal enemies much later in the game, that'd be better, but as it stands, they weren't really designed to, like, bounce off of each other that well. So it's just kind of a spam fight. Copy-pasted fights are not great in general, and Elden Ring is packed to the brim with them. I feel like you could have done a little bit better off with that. At least screw with the boss's AI a little bit, so they're... You know, Ornstein and Smo weren't constantly attacking you together, and that's kind of the reason people look so fondly on that fight in general, but... Semantics, I guess. Undead Giant. This is a boss fight in the Chalice Dungeons in Bloodborne. Again, lumbering boss fights in Bloodborne have the same problem. You're just too fast for it to be a problem. There are a couple variants of this boss. One of them has a big cannon that does a big AoE. That's a little bit more lenient, but it's still not good by any stretch of the imagination. The Deathbird and the Deathrightbird. This boss fight would be immensely easier if it weren't for the multitude of AoE attacks they have, some of which leave lingering splash damage. It's the one in the mountaintop that I'm thinking of specifically, where it just leaves Ghost Flame all over the ground. You know, speaking of the Ghost Flame in Elden Ring, you know, for an enemy that uses Ghost Flame, it's like the most horrendously damaging thing on Earth. Whenever the player uses it, it hits like a napkin. I don't understand why you would make something so cool, and in the player's hands, it's the furthest from optimal you can get. Yorm the Giant. Gimmick boss bad. Yorm would be up 2 whole tiers if you just did regular damage to him. Because I've played mods for DS3 where you just do normal damage to him, and it's so much better. It's like night and day, man. Thank you for the patsies. I appreciate it. His moveset's really cool, too. This is the tragedy of the whole thing. If the boss fight was designed inherently so that Onion Bro was the one doing the majority of damage with the Storm Ruler, if that was like a built-in thing and not something you had to do his questline for, it'd be better, where your whole job is to pull aggro from him and maybe get a riposte off now and then. That'd at least move it up a tier, I think. At present, it's just... Why would you waste this? Why would you do it? The gargoyles in Elden Ring. Some of these things' attacks are so nonsensical in their hitbox size that it leaves me completely baffled. The ones that do Destined Death with the twin blades that do the big tornado, if you're anywhere near them when they start it, you just can't get away. You can't do it. It's just not possible. The ones... The Valiant ones. It's the Valiant gargoyles. The ones that are in the Ancestral Grounds. This is the only version of the gargoyles that have a poison breath attack. I think a good problem that I have with poison in Elden Ring is that most of the enemies that use poison, the poison is almost invisible. It's a weird choice, and I've never understood it. Ancient Dragon. Completely optional boss fight in DS2. I almost always skip it. I think I've only fought this thing like 3 times over the 20 or so times I played through DS2. I have never once been able to avoid Ancient Dragon's breath attack. The one where it flies up above the arena, hovers there, and breathes directly down. Never been able to do it. Ever. I've seen other people do it. You just run towards its tail. For some reason, anytime I've tried it, it just didn't work. The only solution I found is just hold up a Great Shield and pray to God. Other than that, its moveset is just boring. Which sucks, because I think this is the largest boss, the largest dragon boss you fight in the entire series, right? Not counting Dragon God, because that's not really a fight, per se, but... As it stands, it's just... Its AoEs are too big, and its regular attacks I don't think I've ever seen anyone get hit by. The regular Burial Watchdogs. It goes from 0 to 100 really quick with its attack speed, and the splash damage on its ground slam is way too big and lasts too long. That's my primary issues with it. There are minor ways you can alleviate it, like if you do the weird, like, glitch it out with the crystal darts thing, that helps a little bit in terms of stunning it, but at present its moveset is just kind of awful? It's a little bit of a problem with a big chunk of bosses I have with Elden Ring as a whole. I guess it's neither here nor there, though. Speaking of bosses I have a big problem with, incomparable moveset man himself, Elemer. I went over this a little bit when we did the Bellberry Hunters, but why does this motherfucker have such enormous attack range? This is, to my knowledge, the only boss in this entire franchise that does, like, telekinesis with his sword. Why would you give a gimmick like that specifically to some guy? I don't think Elemer has any actual lore attached to it, does he? From any of the descriptions, I've never seen anything that matters. He's not like a proper character, right? And he has this unique power that I've never seen anyone else in the entirety of these games have. Oh god. Ugh, my throat is dying, and I don't know why. Gwendolyn. If Gwendolyn wasn't a boss fight in a hallway, it'd be so much better. If you fought Gwendolyn in a big circular room, that'd alleviate a big chunk of the problems I have with Gwendolyn. It'd move it up probably 2 whole tiers. Because at present, he's just annoying, and none of his attacks are going to hit you. All you have to do is hide behind the pillar. The only one that can go through the pillar is the Soul Spear, and you can roll through that no problem. He's annoying. You can end the hallway if you just run towards him for long enough. Anytime I've fought Gwendolyn, I don't think I've seen the end of the hallway. I just kill him too fast. He's annoying and he's easy, so it just becomes tedious. Dragonkin Soldier. It has 2 AoEs, one right after the other, and the second one is a secret one. Because it sticks its hand in the ground in an AoE, and then it pops it out in an AoE. If it wasn't for that one problem, I wouldn't move it out of bad, but it'd probably be at the top of bad. I would give it that much. Walnir, gimmick boss bad, has ads in it. Attack his bracelets, or you do no damage. You know, for a giant skeleton boss like the beginning of Castlevania 64, you kind of wasted the whole concept, didn't you? Ancestral Spirit. If it didn't run away from you as much as it did, it'd be much less annoying. Still not great. It's a weird breath attack, which I think is a unique type of breath attack. I think there's an item you can get that does that, but I don't think there's a single spell that does it. Which, that's cool. But as it stands, it's just a worse version of another boss. The Twin Dragon Rider. It's just the Dragon Rider boss fight, except there's two of them, and one of them is doing, like, arrow spam at you for the boss fight. You can attack the second one, and it'll come down from the pedestal, but then you just have to fight two of them at the same time, and that might be even more annoying. Not great. The Wolves. The Red Wolves. Its moveset is probably the biggest issue I have with it, because it can just do the run away from you and cast the 3, like, delayed Soul Spears, right? It's annoying more than anything. My alarm is going off, excuse me. One moment, I forgot to turn it off. Oh god, oh no, please, no, it's this, interrupting me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself, body my holding cell. Sorry about that. There's gonna be 2 more that go off too, isn't there? Let me turn that off quick, actually. Since I'm here. How do I work this phone? It's been so long since I've used this. Alarm. Sorry, one moment. Un momento, por favor. That. Bring you back up. Hello, Meto. Welcome home from work. Was it everything to your liking? Probably not, right? What was I just doing? Actually, what was I just doing? Right, Red Wolves. Moveset's annoying. It has a couple of 360 attacks. It does the one where it spins and then it jumps back to get away from you, and then it has a regular 360 attack, kind of similar to Sif. Its timing is a little bit more odd. If it wasn't for the spell spam they can do, this would be marginally higher, but at present, it's not great, to say the least. Godfrey. Godfrey and Godefroy, for that matter. Godfrey's higher because he has a phase 2, and Godefroy does not. I don't like Godfrey. I think he's too easy. That's my primary issue with him. For the first remembrance you're gonna get in Elden Ring, you fought, like, at least 1 boss prior to this, right? And it's so much harder. D-Man, thank you for the 100 Bitalies. Hello, welcome. Please, enjoy yourself. Relax a little bit. God, I wish that were me. But yeah. Godric, the second phase is better. The second phase is much better, and I wish it was just the whole boss fight. Because his moveset's so much more interesting. The only thing that's gonna get you is the wind bursts that he does if you're at range when he does his big wind AoE around him. The timing on that's a little bit weird if you're not used to it, but that's the only thing that's gonna kill you. If jumping was not in the game, he would be so much harder. Ugh. You know, jumping comes up so rarely often in these boss fights, doesn't it? There's only a handful of bosses that you really need to jump over to make the fight any easier. Every version of the Magma Worm. Magma Worm is annoying. It has too much health. The splash damage from its sword swings are too big. The versions of it that stand up, that's why they're higher, because they get a moveset shift. They have this one specific hyper-delayed overhead. The range on that hitbox covers, like, its entire body, and it baffles me to no end. Both commanders. If they didn't have ads, they'd probably be up A tier. The one that's in the castle in the mountaintop, if it's like ice AoE that it does around it wasn't so big, it'd probably be up 2 tiers because it looks so cool. And I wish the weapon you got from him did the exact same thing, but it's a fist weapon instead of a kick weapon. No one likes kick weapons in these games. I don't get it. You've so rarely often in these games been able to do a good kick. Remember the Bone Fist in DS2? That had a good kick. Just let me do that. Ugh. A bit ashamed to admit I didn't know Ori was Irish. Well, I'm Irish, Mexican, Spanish, and Choctaw. I'm pasty as hell, and that's where the Irish comes in. It's one of them situations, you know what I'm saying? Bum-ba-da-bum. Disgaea has a good soundtrack, doesn't it? Spiced soda. Storm King. Gimmick boss bad, but the spectacle of Storm King makes it marginally better than the other ones that have the same gimmick. If it wasn't for the additional rays that are like shooting spears at you the whole fight, this wouldn't be nearly as bad. That and the fact that the Storm Ruler is just about at the edge of the arena, if I remember right. There's a big gravestone it's in front of that you have to do the animation to rip out of a guy's hand or from the ground. I don't remember which off the top of my head, forgive me. And you know, if... This would be a weird thing because I just got off of doing the fight in Dragon's Dogma, but if these games had, like, mounted ballistas or something and you had to run between them to get damage off before it destroys them, that'd be a decent way of fixing the gimmick boss problem. But then you run into another issue of what are you going to do after it destroys all. So, I guess that's neither here nor there as a solution. Every regular dragon variant in Elden Ring, its regular movesets are too easy to dodge, and the ones that aren't, the hitboxes are too massive. The one in Caelid, it has a breath attack that covers the entire arena. Stop doing that. For the love of God. Just stop it. I don't like nearly any dragon boss in this entire franchise, and that covers a good chunk of my problems with all of them. Please, for the love of God, have a fairly sized hitbox and don't jump around so much. I too am pasty, about Irish, but I'm mostly European with one of the biggest traits being Norwegian. Huh. Toddbot, how many Norse users in chat? Ceaseless Discharge. You know, it says a lot about Ceaseless Discharge that everyone would rather do the trick that instantly kills him than actually do the boss fight, because either you can spell spam him to death, in which case that fight is trivial, or you can bait out the big ground slam that he does with his fist, and then wail on his hand for like the 10 seconds it's there. Otherwise, it's more annoying than anything. He has one AoE, I think, if you hide in that, like, crevice that's in the arena. But unless you're doing that, it's just not a factor at all, from what I remember. It's immersive. You're meant to feel negative things toward dragons like the average dung dweller of the Soulsborne kingdoms. You know, I play all these games offline specifically because I don't want to have my immersion breaker when I see the sign invaded by Dark Spirit Balls Deep 69. I just don't do it. I've never liked the way invasions work. I've never understood Dark Spirits, even with, like, the NPC ones. Why don't you just have the NPC around? Just have it be a factor in the map design without it, like, teleporting in with the message. Wouldn't fighting Kirk in the sewers in DS1 be better if he ambushed you instead of getting the message about it? Am I crazy? Armored Spider. It has attacks that can hold you in place and make you... Is it slow roll or is it fail roll? I don't remember. You can wail on it a little bit and then it does a big AoE that you have to run away from, otherwise The AoE wouldn't be as bad if it was instant. That way you can either roll through it or block it, but it lasts, like, I want to say a full 5 seconds of constant damage. So you have to respect the AoE and run to the other side of the arena down the tunnel. And then start back to neutral and run down the tunnel and dodge the fireballs and the web, and then just go back to what you're doing. Annoying. Knights Cavalry. I wish there was a variant of Knights Cavalry that fought you off the horse. Its regular moveset is so much better, and that horse really has trouble keeping track of you if you're not fighting it on horseback. It has a specific turning animation that it just keeps doing like 4 or 5 times in a row while you're running towards it. Really just makes me wish you fought it without the horse. The Rotten. The Rotten would be in the bottom tier if I was counting the run-up to bosses in these tiers, because the poison spam hell that Black Gulch is cannot be understated. At present, Rotten's biggest issue is the arena you fight him in. The, like, fire pits that do more fire damage than anything else in the entire series. It's bizarre, right? Like, you walk over fire pretty okay in every other game. For some reason in DS2, when you walk over fire, it drains your health faster than anything in the world. If it was just the fire ring around the arena, that'd be one thing. Rotten would probably be up 1 tier. But the fact that there's like 2 or 3 pits in the arena just to fuck you over? No, bad boss. Headless Ape and Guardian Ape. The same boss, it's just one of them has help. I don't like its moveset. I don't like instant death gimmick. And it throws shit at you. Why would you... There's a weird amount of, like, pee-pee poo-poo in this series that keeps coming up. Between Dung Eater and the Dung Pies in DS1, 2, and 3. I very much feel like Miyazaki has a little bit of a problem. I think Headless has a command grab where it, like, fists you, even. What did Miyazaki mean by this? Why? Please, stop. Leechmonger. You have to run down to Leechmonger to actually start the boss fight proper while it, like, throws shit at you that does, like, damage over time. If it wasn't for the leeches, like, actually leeching onto you, this fight would be better. If it wasn't for having to run towards the boss while it launches leeches at you, it would be better. And if it wasn't for the fact that fire damage actually, like, eviscerates this thing, it'd be better. And these are all mounting problems that keep coming up. Ugh. Osiris. Osiris. Phase 1 Osiris has a specific, like, mist spell AoE that he does. That if you don't know that it's coming, you're probably gonna die. And I feel like that's cheap. When it gets into his Phase 2 and he becomes like a ravenous beast man, all of his attacks are too easy to dodge, except for, like, he has a shoulder charge that has a hitbox that's like twice the size of his body. Bad boss. Iron Golem. Iron Golem's primary problem is the other golem that throws the explosive pots at you for the entire boss fight. I understand you can kill that golem that throws the pots at you before you actually fight Iron Golem, but if the solution to fighting the boss to make it not shitty is to go fight another one beforehand, I feel like you're just avoiding the problem that you've already made. Also, it doesn't help that you can instantly kill the boss by just breaking its stance when it's near the edge. You ever find it weird this is the only boss in DS1 that you can stance break? That wasn't really a gimmick until Sekiro. And this is the one instance that comes up before that. Aldrich. Aldrich would be better if he didn't spam his spells so much. Like, I fought him more recently. I fought him very recently. I fought him like 2 months ago. Right? This motherfucker spammed that arrow rain like 3 times in a row while he was doing his like attack where he slides on the ground really fast and leaves the homing spells in the air. It might be the definition of annoying spell spam, and it's probably the worst case of it I've ever seen, even counting players. Spell spamming players wish they were as spammy as Aldrich. I can't understand it. Bloodstarved Beast. Passive poison buildup for the whole fight. No, wait, no. It's only the version in the Chalice Dungeon that has it for the whole fight. It's only phase 3, I want to say, in the run you have to do, where it has the poison buildup. Even then, don't do that. We're going to come up to another boss here in a second that has that same problem with another damage type. Don't have bosses that give you unavoidable damage. Please. You can use a specific item to, like, make him attack a wall and just hit him in the back and kill him in, like, 14 seconds or so. Please, just don't. Oren. I just don't like Oren of the Water's moveset, and that's really my entire issue with her. I always have trouble, like, really pinning down what my problem with her is. I'm having a lot of trouble forming words about why I don't like it. I can usually articulate this a little bit better. I just really don't like fighting her. It might be one of her specific attacks? Keep in mind, I only played through Sekiro once, so my memory on it might not be the best compared to the others. But I can at least remember the others a little bit better as to why specifically I don't like them. Speaking of, Gyobu. My biggest problem with Gyobu, when he does his big, like, sweep attack that covers 100 miles, you get a prompt to grapple to him to close the distance. But when the grapple prompt comes up, you're still in range of being attacked, so you get taken out of the grapple. If that prompt just didn't come up until you were out of safe range, I wouldn't have nearly the problem with it, or if grappling had iframes on it. Because even the awful dodge you have in Sekiro, like, Sekiro has a regular dodge, like the other games. Everyone always forgets that. Like, anytime I've ever seen videos of it, they rarely ever use it. It totally does, even if it was just that limited iframe. The problem would be solved. Other than that, he's the only boss that's, like, on horseback in the game, right? And because of that, he moves away and towards you much faster than the others. It's a weird problem to have, because in Sekiro you move really, really, really fast compared to the other games. And it's kind of a shame that it's the one boss in the game that moves faster than you. And I never really understood it. Also, the neighbors are having an issue. And I don't really know why. One moment while that gets cleared up. One sec. No problem. Alright, I think it's mostly cleared. Where was I? Oh, right. Aldia and Chandra are kind of the same boss. You fight Aldia right after Nashandra, so they ostensibly are the same boss, but Aldia's moveset is way too easy, especially for the build-up that he had. Keep in mind, this boss did not exist in the vanilla release of DS2. He only showed up in Scholar. And the entire new questline that gets added to Scholar, revolving around this guy, and for the end result to be this boss fight, is the most slap in the face I've had in the entire game. And there are a couple of slaps in the face that DS2 gives you. And for it to be this, like... He only moves by teleporting, by the way. He only moves by teleporting. So he can't dodge you. If this guy had regular movement, up a full tier immediately. Nashandra, marginally better because she can move, but she's too lumbering. The only problem anyone's ever had with Nashandra is she has these, like, floating mines that give you, like, curse buildup. Is it curse buildup? I think it's curse buildup. Because the curse, like, status effect in DS2 only gave you, like, reduced maximum health as you hollowed you out. Because hollowing works different in DS2 in general. I digress. That's not the point I'm trying to make. She's just too easy to be the final boss of one of these games. Priscilla. I've only fought Priscilla once, actually, anytime I played through DS1. Only once. I don't like doing it, but the actual fight itself... Her turning invisible is probably the biggest problem I have, because the footprints she leaves are not prominent enough for you to notice them. The best solution to this is to spam pyromancy at the ground, and that will alleviate the problem. But aside from that, her moveset's just not that interesting. She's too lumbering for it to be a good boss fight. She's too slow, right? If it was like... If it was the same speed as Frida, let's say, probably be up about the same tier as she is, at least, but at present it's just kind of... Worst of all, you cannot touch Fluffy Tail. It's true. Both versions of Corrupted Monk. I don't like his moveset. I appreciate the fact that you can get a whole health bar off of him, if you know the specific trick to it, where as soon as he enters his phase 2, he does, like, his teleport thing. If you get on the tree that's behind him beforehand, you can stealth him and get a full bar off in addition to that, but aside from that, I just find him annoying more than anything. Nika? Nika? Niska? I don't remember how to pronounce her name. I don't think the NPC that you can summon for this fight ever says her name. She's just a worse version of Quelaag. If she didn't tunnel underground for the whole fight, probably be up to the lower end of the next tier. But as it stands, she's just non-threatening. She's really slow compared to Quelaag, too. That's another issue a lot of bosses in DS2 have. Too slow for their own good. Bell Gargoyles. If the second one didn't spam Fire Breath, I would have not nearly the problem that I have with it. Annoying boss. Mitha. Mitha the Baneful Queen. The only Gorgon in this entire series. You have to light a windmill on fire before you go to this boss fight. Otherwise, there is poison littering the entire boss room that she heals from while it's poisoning you. Kind of the same issue with Iron Golem. If you have to go do other activity to make boss not terrible, just make boss not terrible from the onset. I don't understand why they keep doing it. Her moveset's okay. I don't think I've ever seen a player die to her, but she has an okay moveset. But if we're talking about bosses, we have to talk about every aspect of the boss. So, sorry about that. Taurus Demon. If it weren't for the archers that are behind you when you walk through the boss door that you have to know about in advance, this boss would be probably up A tier. Even if you take care of that, the boss is... I don't think Taurus Demon has a particularly great moveset. It's more an issue of the way models work in this game, where they can push you if they move parts of their model. So sometimes if you dodge through his, like, axe swings, he still, like, nudges you over the edge when he moves back to neutral stance. The bridge probably doesn't help more than anything, I'll be honest. Asylum Demon, Stray Demon, and Demon Fire Stage... Fire Sage. They're just more and more advanced versions of the same boss. Again, too slow for their own good, and they're not as interesting as Vanguard. They've been chasing the, like, glory of a, like, tutorial boss that Vanguard was for so long, and none of them get it right. You know, the AoEs that they get as this boss type, like, levels up over the course of the game, probably not helping. Because the AoEs are not that well telegraphed. Anytime I play DS1, I tend to use a shield, so it's not as much of a problem, but... I can't imagine taking a run at these boys and trying to dodge through those AoEs. If I remember right, they last, like, longer than the fast roll does. I think even faster than the ninja roll does. If the boss is fine, but also has a you can do something to make it easier or deny a skill to get an advantage, would you think it's fine or still not acceptable? I don't think it's acceptable if you have to do any extra homework to make the boss not awful. At all. The best boss in the bad tier, the Fool's Idol. This is the middle of the Tower of Latria boss in Demon's Souls. Fool's Idol's primary issue is the same issue as Mitha and Iron Golem. You have to go kill an NPC that is not hostile prior to fighting the boss, otherwise the boss gets resurrected. Not great from the onset. Gonna make my shit list no matter what with that. But there's also trip mines that hold you in place in this boss arena, so the boss can spam you with spells. And there's normal enemies in the arena on top of that. If you removed all of that nonsense, Fool's Idol would be fine. She can make copies of herself to also spell spam you. But if you do that, she's just kind of a not easy as sin version of Pinwheel. Because I have Pinwheel down in the not a boss tier. He's just too easy, and you fight a bunch of him in that same, like, area right afterwards anyway. But yeah, that is the end of that particular tier. So what do you say we move up to the section that takes up the largest space over the course of these games? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the mid-tier. What the vast majority of bosses in this series fall into. Why would you do this? Four Kings. The best solution to making Four Kings not tedious as all hell is to just wear full Havels and face fuck them to death. Other than that, a good chunk of problems with this boss is the fact that when you fight them in the Abyss, there's no perspective, so your depth perception is ruined and you have no idea how close or far away attacks are. They have a slow-moving projectile they do that looks like it's right in your face while it's a million miles away, and it just comes towards you slower and slower. If there was some semblance of perspective for the Abyss Arena, it'd be better. But at present, I think if you don't kill one fast enough, the second and then third one and then fourth one spawn in before you even killed any. I really hope your damage is up to a good standard, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. Hero of Zamor. Hero of Zamor is a less annoying version of the Zamor warriors you fight in the Mountaintop of the Giants. Its AoEs are not as prevalent as when it becomes a normal enemy later. It's just kind of... like, it's fine. You could have done a better job if it just didn't have hyper armor on everything. The Lauren Silver Beast, the Abhorrent Beast, the Bloodletting Beast, and the Beast-Possessed Soul. Some of these have different movesets and some don't. These are Chalice Dungeon bosses in Bloodborne. They're all very mediocre. And the regular werewolf enemy in Bloodborne is more fun to fight. These things are just annoying, but not quite annoying enough to get dropped down a tier. Crucible Knight Duo. Crucible Knight Duo is inoffensive because one of them hangs back and they kind of tag out and exchange who has aggro on you. So it's fine, I guess. Maneater. This is the second to last boss in the tower in Demon Souls. Maneater's okay. The biggest issue with it is the, like, tiny bridge you have to fight him on. If it was like a full-sized arena, it'd be so much more forgiving. And the fact that a second one flies in probably helps too to make it drop down here. Welcome, Oku. Hello, I'm ranting. The 3 versions of the Demi-Human Queen. The worst version is probably around Gelmir. That one has ads. Even if it didn't, the version of the boss is just annoying. Very tedious to fight. Its moveset is largely just flailing around like a bitch. Interesting opinions. To say the least, I'm sure. Annoying boss does not have a lot going on. Wormface. There's 2 versions of this boss. One of them is at Gelmir, and the other one is in the Altus Plateau. I don't like instant death build-up gimmicks. I never have, and I never will. It's like if they made the Basilisks a boss fight. He's too big and lumbering to be a threat in and of himself, but he can douse the arena in instant death build-up. If it just took that away and you gave him a faster moveset, it'd be so much better. Please, just stop doing this. The Falling Star Beast. It runs away from you too much, and using Torrent is just not advised for nearly any boss fight because Torrent doesn't have iframes on his dash. Please, it's just a damage sponge that runs around the whole arena. That's all it is. He has a couple of AoEs that are really easy to dodge. He has a charge attack that he does 3 times a row. Kinda similar to another boss we'll talk about in a bit. But it's much slower, and that makes it harder to dodge for some reason. Shadows of Yharnam. If they didn't all have aggro on you at the same time, this boss would be better. Like if you had to fight one and then the other and then the last one. It's just annoying. I appreciate the gimmick where they get, like, more power the less of them they are. Like, they have new attacks. The big snake they can summon is cool, but aside from that, it's not great. The Black Knife variants. Criminally cool moveset to give it to a boss that's just kind of mediocre all around. In addition, Electo, specifically, has more armor than any of the other ones you fight. If all of them operated on the same rules, it'd be better. For what it's worth, I think the one you fight in Altus Plateau that you get the Black Knife weapon from is probably the best version of this boss. If I could separate the Black Knife Assassin into the individual categories, that one specifically would probably be going up the next tier. Something about this fight just works better than the other versions of it, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. Abyss Watchers. I don't get the hype for Abyss Watchers. I have seen people lose their mind with hype over Abyss Watchers. I don't get it. I don't understand at all. He has kind of a cool moveset, and then you have to fight another one on top of it. And then a third one shows up and attacks the other one for some reason. If it was just a 1v1, it'd go up in a full tier. Stop putting additional enemies in your boss fights. I'm begging you. Please, for my sanity. Fire Giant. Fire Giant is not nearly as bad as people say it is, but it's not great. He has too much health. He has so much health. Because Artorias nod? No. 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 Fire Giant. Getting back to Fire Giant, if we can just talk a little bit about the size of this motherfucker's AoEs. Nearly every attack this dude has are AoEs. Almost all of them. And I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion. Unless you're using Frostbite or Bleed, this fight's gonna take you like 10 minutes. Like a full 10. There needs to be some kind of solution to this. It doesn't help that his second phase, his hands are rarely within attacking range too, and that's his weak point in the second phase specifically. And I don't like that. Omen Killer. It's a better version of Capra Demon. They even gave him new moves he can do. It's alright. It's fine. He has a breath attack even, and that's kind of cool. The first version you're probably going to fight has dogs. You know, gotta have a nod to the original. That's the worst version, but other versions of it are fine. It's alright. I could do that. The Loran Dark Beast, and by extension Dark Beast Parl. Parl is a fine boss. It has a specific AoE that I don't like, and that's the primary reason it's as low in the mid-tier as it is. Aside from that, he's fine. I still don't understand what type of damage it counts as. I think it counts as a beast type, so it should take additional damage from, like, serrated and fire weapons, but I've never tested it myself. Full-grown Falling Star Beast. It's the Falling Star Beast with some extra moves, and that makes it marginally better. The Loran version can go fuck himself, his Chalice version sucks. I think they're fine. It's just that the Chalice that you fight him in gives you lower max health. And that's it. If you're not getting hit, it's fine. The problem is avoided wholesale. But the full-grown Falling Star Beast, again, just wider moveset, gives it marginally higher on the list, but it has all the same problems that the Falling Star Beast has. The Misbegotten Crusader. The Misbegotten Crusader is alright. It's alright. It has a unique weapon that none of the other Misbegotten warriors have. It has new attacks that it gives it, and that moves it up marginally. I don't think it's great still, but it at least gives me one pop-off when I notice it gives, like, a blade beam. You know? He's more beefy, and thus you have hard issues dealing with taking him out with his electro mode. Yeah, I can see that. Emma the Gentle Blade. For a potential final boss of one of these games, Emma is really lame. She only has one health bar, and her moveset is really, really easy compared to even any boss before her. That's the biggest issue I have with her. Renala. If Renala was just her Phase 2 and she could not summon enemies, she'd be at the top of this tier. She's annoying. She runs away from you. She summons things that have an AoE on the summon. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. Her regular moveset is alright. Like, it's inoffensive aside from that. Any boss that can summon is an instant. No. Kind of. Kind of, yeah. Kind of. We'll get to it. There's one instance I think is really cool in this whole franchise, but we'll get to that. Both versions of Loretta. She's okay. She's okay. Some of her hitboxes are a little bit wonky. I'm thinking of her slash specifically. You have to hug her left side. Otherwise, I feel like the Ash of War Loretta slash that you get, when she does that, if you're on her right side, I feel like 90% of the time the startup is going to hit you. Aside from that, she's fine. She's alright. Same deal with Vendrick. Vendrick would be better if you didn't have to collect the Giant Souls. If you don't collect the Giant Souls, his defense is incomprehensible. And I get that's like build up that Vendrick in his day was like the ultimate bad motherfucker. I understand that. But even then, his moveset is just fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's inoffensive. Makes me wish that you had a boss fight with Vendrick in his prime at some point, but it's neither here nor there, I suppose. The final Chalice Dungeon boss from Bloodborne, the Queen of Yharnam, she's okay. She's alright. She's fine. She's not all that interesting, but she's okay. She gives you an item that serves no purpose. It does nothing. It does nothing at all. No one's been able to figure out why it's there. Why include items in the game that don't do anything at all? There's another item that doesn't do anything at all, that we're gonna get to later. That's in DS1. We'll get to that in due time, believe me. Godskin Duo. We'll get to it. Godskin Duo is just the worst version of the Godskins as a fight. On the initial playthrough that I did, when I streamed it, I had no trouble with this boss at all. Right? I got it on the first try when we did the initial playthrough on stream. I remember that. They died like bitches. This fight is committing a cardinal sin of enemies spamming you with bullshit at the same time. Why would you do this? If you're going to include duo boss fights in this series, adjust their AI so that they're not attacking you at the same time. Especially when they read your inputs, so they know to throw a fireball at you when you start your healing animation. It's only up as high as it is because I like the Noble's moveset and the Apostle's moveset enough to warrant it. That's the only reason it's even this high. Moog. The not good version of Moog. The version of Moog that you fight in the sewer. It's just a more boring version of Moog that doesn't have his second phase and he's immune to bleed damage. It's okay. It's more of a damage sponge than its higher level variant, oddly enough, because of that one problem. Hope you're prepared to deal with it, otherwise you're not going to have a good time. Same deal with Margit. It's just a worse version of a better boss. A much better boss, I would say. Margit is... He's okay. He's alright. He's a good filter for an initial playthrough. I had the fortune of missing the castle entrance entirely on the initial playthrough we did on stream. So I didn't come at him until I was way higher leveled than I probably should have been. But he's okay. He's fine. I feel like when his knife throw comes out too fast, so you don't know about it until you're already been hit by it, so you have to know it's coming, and I don't feel like that's fair. But it's okay. Estelle. Both versions of Estelle. Estelle's fine. His, teleport and then command grab is bullshit. But aside from that, its moveset is fine. The AoE that he does on the ground beneath him is annoying. I think you can jump over each wave that it does if you time it right. He's okay. If that command grab wasn't there, and he just wasn't so tanky, it'd be up a little bit higher. It's a good, oh god, what is that moment? Because it's like the only, that's a goddamn space alien enemy in the game, and that's cool. I would give it that much. The Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. This is the one that has an actual Phase 2, and none of the rest of them have it. It grows wings and it starts doing lightning spells. And that's really cool compared to how lame the other version of the boss is. It's still not great, but it's significantly better than the others. Keeper of the Old Lords. Keeper of the Old Lords is alright. It's the big, like, warg or hellhound that you fight in the Chalice dungeons. Its primary issue is the hitbox size seems very wonky a lot of the time, to the point where it feels like I was just playing DS2. And it feels like this guy needed more time in the oven, but it's okay. It's a cool design, and I wish more designs like it got used in the series. My throat is still dying? I'm not sure why this is happening. I take a sippy, I do. The basic Lionine Misbegotten. I think it's cool. I think it's cool compared to the others. I think Misbegotten Crusader's primary issue is the fact that it has a unique moveset, at least for a couple of attacks, is going to throw you off. Especially the Blade Beam. If you don't know the Blade Beam is coming, you're going to get hit by it. But Lionine's pretty cool. We're getting into the mid-tier that is kind of pretty alright. Thief, no! But yeah, he's fine. I feel like it should be more of a unique boss for where you find him. Again, the whole southern region in Elden Ring feels very tacked on compared to the others. There is nothing of, like, substantial value to be found there. It feels like there should have been a Remembrance boss down there instead of Lionine, or Lionine should have been a unique variant that has a Remembrance attached to it. Right? Not at all. Regal Ancestral Spirit. Better version of the Ancestral Spirit. It has more of a moveset range. In addition, anytime it revives itself, it takes a move from one of the animals it absorbed. Like, it has the rollout attack that the sheeps have. It has the, if it kills, I think it's a ram, it has a big charging attack. But, you know, it's just a better version of the other one. It's okay. It's pretty cool. Watcher and Defender. Watcher and Defender have the same problem that most duo boss fights have, where they attack you at the same time. It would be higher if it weren't for that. Especially it would be higher if you fought both of them separately. If you fought both of them separately in different other areas before this, much better individually. And the fact that they can revive each other to full health, if I'm not mistaken. Hope to God you were keeping them even-handed in the damage, otherwise you have to fight the other one again from scratch. But their movesets are actually pretty cool. I like them. They buff when they get to half health. I think one of them does magic damage and the other one does lightning damage, right? It's been a while since I played through DS2, so memory's a little bit hazy, but, you know, they're alright. Demon of Hatred. Very cool design, kind of a boring moveset. The setting you fight him in and the design are really nice. Its moveset is just kind of meh. It's not all that interesting. I feel like you needed a little bit more time in the concept of it. Old Hero. Old Hero's moveset is pretty cool. I feel like if more time was lended to it, rather than just building up the stealth mechanic that everyone ignores because it's not obvious, Old Hero has a stealth mechanic, because he's blind. So he just attacks things at random in the arena. Unless you make noise, then he knows where you are. If you took that out, and they had more time dedicated to giving him a wider moveset, Old Hero would probably go up a full tier. Because I like Old Hero in concept, and I like his design. Midir. Midir is too tanky. He has so much health. He has an AoE that I think if you're point blank on him, you just can't dodge. Again, reoccurring issue with... I massively disagree with Midir's health. Really? Every time I fought him, he just seems so tanky. It's unbelievable. Also, he has one, like, charge attack. This is a weird issue with charge attacks in these games. Either they can be dodged every single time, 100% of the time, or the hitbox is twice the size of the attacker's body. The latter applies to Midir. Why is it so massive? Please. My sanity. Did you attack his head exclusively? I know his head is his weak point, and it's rarely available. Especially when he starts spamming breath attacks. Please, God. All I ask for is good boss fights with dragons. It's such a reoccurring theme. You'd think they'd put more time and love into them. Old version of Ishin. Old Ishin's fine. He's fine. He's alright. He's a worse version of Ishin, but he's okay. He's kinda cool. He's okay. His moveset is fine. That's the best thing I can say about it. He's fine. The most inoffensive boss in this whole tier list. Demon Prince is okay. He's alright. I feel like if the, what are they called? Demon from Below and Demon in Pain? The Phase 1? If they didn't swap movesets frequently throughout the fight, it'd be better? But since they do that, you can't really even out the second phase. Because Demon Prince itself gets a different moveset, depending on which one of them you kill last. Right? It either has a wave beam attack, or it has a big fireball spam attack. You want the beam attack because the fireball one is annoying as sin to deal with. Aside from that, the whole, like, spectacle of the fight and the boss itself is pretty alright. I like it okay. Judith's Gundyr. Is it Gundyr? Is it Gundyr? I always say Gundyr. I like him. I like him alright. I think he's one of the best, like, starting boss fights in this series. His moveset's a little bit too easy to dodge, but I think he's pretty cool. I think he's okay. He's alright. He's a cool little boy. He does his best. You know? He's doing his absolute best. Butterfly. Lady Butterfly. I really appreciate the fake out. Because in the Phase 1, you kill her and her health bar disappears, and then, oh no, that was an illusion. She was watching you fight that, and now the fight actually starts. That's a cool reveal. As it stands, if you know how to parry to any extent, she's going to die almost immediately. For a game where the whole gimmick is building up the posture bar, you'd think they would have given her a bigger posture bar. Like, if you, like, ring together those perfect parry strings, she stands no chance at all. And she's just gone in a flash. She has a pretty cool moveset, so she gets up a little bit higher. I'll say this, I don't like Sekiro, but the movesets are cool. It makes me wish that the player character had a wider moveset to pick from. All Demon King's alright. It has one annoying AoE. One. And it's the one that, like, has a circular wave on the ground. Other than that, it's pretty cool. It's too lumbering, and all of his regular attacks are too easy to dodge, but it's okay. Godskin Noble, the lesser of the duo, the Genetti, if you will. He's fine? He's fine. I don't like the rollout. I don't think anyone on Earth likes the rollout attack he does. It lasts too long. If it was just one go-over, like if it lasted 3 seconds on startup and it rolled through and he stopped immediately, no one would have nearly as much of a problem with Godskin Noble. Aside from that, he's just annoying, but he's not offensively annoying. He has one, like, really long startup stab that he does, and that can be a problem for a lot of people, but he's alright. Watchdog of the Old Lords. This is the skeleton pyromancer in the Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne. She's cool, but she always spawns with ads from my memory. Right? Am I remembering that right, Chathany? She always spawns with ads anytime you fight her in the Chalice dungeon? Big problem. Her moveset's fine, though. She's alright. She's cool. She's one of the few normal-sized enemies in Bloodborne. I'm pretty sure she has titties. I'm pretty sure she did. But she's alright. She has kind of a cool moveset. It's very unique for Bloodborne specifically to have a boss that does, like, magic fire stuff, you know? Which one are we talking about? You know, the skeleton that has the big hat. You know the one I'm talking about? You remember Watchdog of the Old Lords? You remember that bitch? It's the only, like, witch's hat in the game. You remember, right? You had to have. I think they start appearing in, like, the first or second Chalice dungeon. What do you mean she has friends? She has dogs, doesn't she? At least one variant of the Watchdog of the Old Lords has dogs. The cursed version has you fighting one solo. Yeah, it's the cursed one that's probably better. But, as it stands, it's fine. Even if you took away the dogs, she's just alright. It'd still be in the mid-tier. But it would be up a few notches. But she's okay. I appreciate the uniqueness compared to other bosses in Bloodborne. Dancer. My biggest issue with Dancer is you have to fight her right after another boss. Whichever of the other lords you fight last, you have to fight Dancer right afterwards. You can Homeward Bone out of the boss fight, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But Dancer's moveset is fine. There are moments where it's pretty cool, right? But she's just too easy. Except for that one spin attack she does. You better run your ass to the other end of the arena, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. But she's alright, she's cool. I appreciate the jiggle physics, if nothing else. God. Amelia. Vicar Amelia. I like Amelia. I really do like Amelia. Why does she have a heal she can do? She's the only boss in Bloodborne that has a heal that she can do. And I feel like that's really holding it back more than anything. If you took that away and you just gave her higher limb resistance than she has, because you can break her arms in this fight. And I wish more bosses in Bloodborne had that in general, but that's neither here nor there. If you gave her higher limb resistance and you took away her healing, I feel like it would be much, much better. But she's still pretty cool. It's a very nice looking boss, very good design. Little bit easy as it stands, aside from the healing. If you save Amelia for after Bloodstarved, much less annoying. Lawrence. I don't like Lawrence. I don't like the extra AoEs they put on the reused Cleric Beast here. I don't like his second phase that has a constant fire hitbox on it. But Cleric Beast's moveset is still pretty cool aside from that. Amygdala. Amygdala is too big for its own good. That's the only issue I have with it. It has trouble staying in camera. His attacks always happen from off-screen half the time because of that. If the boss was like half the size it was, I would like it a lot better. But I like fighting the Cthulhu monster in general. He's alright. Lorien and Lothric. I don't know why it just says Lothric on the tier list, but Lorien and Lothric are the boss fight. If it was just Lorien, it would be fine. It would be better. Like, it's okay as it stands, but the magic spam that Lothric does in the second phase is holding it back more than anything. Because Lorien is fun to fight, and Lothric is not. I have like Imperium. Lorien's the good part of the fight. I just don't like Lothric. My lungs are dying, help. But yeah, I like Lorien. I wish Lorien was a solo fight. I wish it was I wish it was the same deal as God, what's her name? Why am I blanking on her name? Oh God, we're gonna come up to it later. It's the boss at the end of the swamp in Demon Souls. I'm sorry, the name escapes me right now. If it was just that, if it was like a callback to that instead of what it is, much better boss fight. Lorien would be great as a solo boss, and then Lothric is a non-threat boss. Ugh. It's like minor issues that build up over time, you know? Dragon Slayer armor. Dragon Slayer armor's problem is the butterflies. If the butterflies weren't spamming lasers, I would love Dragon Slayer armor. As it stands, it's just okay. I like his moveset. I think it's cool. He's not too tanky. He's not too annoying. I like him. Please, that solo fight you have with Dragon Slayer armor in the Ringed City, much better. Very cool boss. It's just the same. You had to bog it down. Abraitis. Abraitis is cool. Abraitis has a couple of frenzy build-up moves, but Abraitis is cool aside from that. The thing that's holding it back is probably just the frenzy build-up, honestly. I wish that frenzy worked differently as a whole, because the way it... You know, if I can just bitch about frenzy and Bloodborne for a little bit, with the Winter Lantern specifically, because them noticing you causes constant frenzy buildup, even after you've left their range. I played a mod for Dark Souls 3 that had frenzy buildup in it, and it invented a solution for frenzy buildup. You know the whole deal with like frenzy buildup being taken from Lovecraft's work being if you are like looking at awful things that should not exist, it causes you to go mad? The solution that mod came up with is if you are not locked on to the enemy, you will not build up frenzy. Because your character's not looking at it. And I thought that was an amazing solution. You have to have more skill with your thumb to keep the camera on it manually. And I think that's a very good solution that maybe FromSoft should start using for that kind of thing. But as it stands, it's fun. Abraitis is okay. I like it fun. Old Dragon Slayer. This is the unexplained Dragon Slayer / maybe possibly Ornstein's ghost you fight in DS2. It's okay. It's alright. It's a slower version of Ornstein that you fight one-on-one. I would rather just have a one-on-one with straight-up Ornstein, to be honest. But it's okay. It's alright. Cool. Enough, I guess. It does dark damage instead of lightning damage, which is why I go on the theory that it's Ornstein's ghost, but it's okay. It's a cool moveset still. Beast Clergyman / Malekith. Malekith is alright. I don't like the range a lot of his attacks have. We fought him recently in the one-sitting Elden Ring playthrough we did. Please, go back and watch those series of VODs because the internet dropped twice during the stream. But yeah, it was a good time. I'll get that VOD uploaded on YouTube probably tomorrow, by the way. I still haven't downloaded them, but once I do, it should be okay. Also, Malekith is a weird, like... Because the item that you can get to make the fight supposedly easier in the same way Manus with the item you can get supposed to make the fight easier. It's just to parry one move specifically that you can roll through no problem anyway. I don't understand why it's there. But yeah, Malekith is alright. If the hitboxes were adjusted just slightly, it'd probably be up a tier. Singular Dragon Rider. This is the one you fight in Hades Tower. I like Dragon Rider fine. I like it okay. I like it. It's okay. Again, it has the same problem that Iron Golem had, where you have to go do other fuckery to make the boss not awful. Because if you just don't do the fuckery, then the arena is like half the size it would have been, and it has death pits in the arena, which you or the boss could fall into. Don't like that. It'd be up a little bit, but still mid, if that was not the case. Would you object to Elden Ring with me while you play with Doom? I've played Elden Ring co-op with Doom and other people in the server before. That'd be fine. She's brought in Mega or Ray now and then, and that was fun. I'd be fine with that. I really need to look into seamless co-op at some point. At some point, because the only reason I haven't been screwing around with Elden Ring mods at all is because I don't want to risk like screwing up the save file that I had when I did the initial playthrough. Because when the DLC comes out for Elden Ring, I want to play it with the same character we did the first playthrough on stream with. I'd like to be able to do that. But yeah, Dragon Rider's fine. I like his moveset, genuinely. Demon of Song. I think Demon of Song is much cooler than people give it, like, the time of day for. I think it's a really cool design, and I like its moveset. It's still not the best, but I genuinely like it. We're getting into the point in mid where it's not quite good, but I do like it, you know? I really liked the whole area that you fight Demon of Song in. If it wasn't for getting constantly spammed by magic missiles from 100 miles away, that area would be much better. Guardian Dragon. Guardian Dragon's okay. It's okay. It's a genuinely okay, like, fight. Its breath attacks are fairly sized, so they don't take up the whole arena, and that's helping immensely. It's still just okay. As a dragon boss fight goes, it's leagues and bounds above the majority of them, but I like it alright. The Last Giant and Giant Lord. They're the same boss with a different moveset. They're the same character, but they're both pretty good. They're both alright. They're both very good as a first and late game optional boss. The run-up to Giant Lord specifically is one of the worst in the entire series because there are several things that can instantly kill you on the run there. But Giant Lord itself is pretty good. There are two ways you can fight it. You can fight it at its feet, in which case it can try stomping on you, or you can fight it on the platform that's, like, to the side of it. I prefer fighting it on the platform, but it's pretty good. I like it. It's cool. It's cool that you get the call back to Last Giant and you find, oh, those are the same guy. Smelter Demon. Smelter Demon has a cool moveset, but they're both hindered by the same problem, and that is when they enter second phase, I think it is, they both start doing constant fire damage to you. It's just chip damage. Never-ending chip damage. If you took that away, it would be going up a tier. Stop tacking on extra gimmicks to a boss fight that there's nothing wrong with. Please. You would make a completely new moveset with mods and Elden... Yeah, I saw that. They finally figured it out. We're entering a brave new world. Why did it take Elden Ring specifically for people to, like, really start getting into deep dive movesets on? Because prior to this, the biggest advancement to modding I'd ever seen is putting... what was it? It was something specific. It was putting Dante's DMC 1 moveset into Dark Souls 3. That was the most advanced thing before Elden Ring came out. And that's pretty cool, but it's still nothing compared to what I've seen with Elden Ring. Quelaag. Quelaag's pretty cool. The only issue I ever had with Quelaag is the, like, AoE that she has is too subtle of a tell for how much it covers, but Quelaag's cool. Her moveset is... it's alright. I don't appreciate the lava that gets lingered around the arena, but she's alright. Gaping Dragon, pretty cool, very good design. I like it a fair bit. The, like, vomit that it does that covers a good chunk of the arena, probably the biggest thing holding it back. Old Iron King. Old Iron King... it has a cool moveset, but the fact that there's death pits everywhere, including the platform you're supposed to fight it on, is the biggest issue with it. And if those weren't there, I would like it a lot better. As it stands, it's just fine. And its design, where it's basically just Diablo, it's just Diablo in Diablo 2. That's all the design is. And I genuinely like seeing, like, proper Western fantasy devil design, especially in this series. They're few and far between, but I guess it's neither here nor there. Sanctuary Guardian is pretty good. Sanctuary Guardian has a unique moveset compared to a lot of bosses in DS1. It has a lot of mobility. It has a flyaway attack that it shoots lightning blasts at you from. Kind of few and far between in DS1. So, we talked about pointless items before. Sanctuary Guardian has a soul drop like other bosses have, but you can't make anything with it. You can eat the soul for the extra levels, but you can't make anything from the soul, and it's the only boss in DS1 that does that, and it baffles me to this day, after this many years. Centipede Demon's alright. Centipede Demon is mostly this low because of the lava. It feels like the item you get from this boss that makes you nearly immune to the lava should have been an item you got before the boss. Aside from that, it's a good moveset, but the camera has trouble sometimes, and that's kind of a detriment. Sorry. Yeah. Nito. Nito would be higher if he didn't have skeleton ads during the boss. I like Nito. I like his design, and I like his moveset. Please get rid of the skeletons. Radagon / Elden Beast. Annoying moveset. Very annoying. In addition, Radagon just folds like a towel if you hit him with fire damage for the whole fight. His AoEs are a little bit incomprehensible sometimes, but Elden Beast right afterwards is kind of the worst problem. If it was one boss, then walk through a door and fight the next boss, it would be so much less annoying. Even if you had to, like, teleport out, like with Gehrman and the Moon Presence, it would be better. As it stands, it's just a very annoying 1-2 combo, but their movesets are really cool, though! Tower Knight. Tower Knight is a cool example of a big lumbering boss, hampered by the fact that there's archers in the arena, and I don't like that at all. Oh, one sec. One sec. Ah. What? Ugh. Ugh. Excuse me, Chathany. Excuse me. Ugh. My food has been successfully delivered. Thank you. Very nice. Oh, sweet, delicious burger and fries. Magnificent.
Hello, Ed boy.
Thank you for the sub, Princess. I'm glad you're feeling better, Lauren. I'm glad things are better. Oh, just what I needed, sweet sustenance. I was actually getting very hungry. Mmm! You know, I went over every problem I had with Tower Knight in a very short amount of time. Alright, here we go. Melania. I don't understand either the vitriolic hatred or the immense hype that people have for Melania. Sorry, Blade of Mikla. She's fine. She has a cool moveset. Waterfowl Dance is just a gimmick attack. She is just a gimmick boss in disguise. That's all she is. She's fine. If you know how to deal with Waterfowl, she's a complete non-issue. If you would remember, back when we did the initial playthrough, I nailed that bitch on the first try. I might be the... Correct? I have not seen anyone first try Melania. And while that boosts my ego a lot, I don't understand it. Surely, someone out there had a big fuck-off shield when they came at her the first try. Because a Great Shield, I know for a fact, completely trivializes Waterfowl. The only part of it that might not is when she's in Phase 2 Waterfowl, that also does Scarlet Rot buildup. Please, I'm so confused. Like, she's okay. She's fine. I like her moveset. It's very flashy. But she's not, like, the upper echelons of one of the greatest bosses in the series history. And she's not this annoying as sin, worst thing ever imaginable boss that the series has put out. Maybe 90% of the player base ditched shields. Ditching shields only became popular after the DS2 DLC came out. Only after the DS2 DLC did people start dropping shields entirely. And that's probably why Bloodborne was not so much of an issue for me specifically. Because by the end of the third DLC for DS2, when I first played through Crown of the Ivory King, I just stopped using shield. And I fully embraced dual wielding. And I liked it. And I learned those roll timings, and it was great. But I guess I shouldn't rant about that for the time being. Maiden Estrella. Maiden Estrella has the perfect atmosphere that a boss in the series could ever possibly have. It's this unbelievably tragic situation where someone afflicted with something so horrible is backed into a corner and just trying to live life as best as possible in the situation they're given. And you have to go murder them. I wish to God Almighty this was an actual, proper, fully fleshed out boss fight. Because it might be the best boss in the entire franchise if it was, with the atmosphere it has going for it. The problem is that the arena itself is either instant toxic buildup while you're getting spammed by regular enemies, or go the other route and fight Garl Vinland, and he's just a regular player moveset enemy. That's the worst part about it. The fight itself just doesn't have anything going on. It's all atmosphere, and it's amazing. But it's just a regular player moveset that you have to fight through. And then you go up and you talk to Estrella, and she fucking kills herself after she finds out you killed her lover. It's incredible. Why wouldn't you make this an actual boss fight? It's amazing. Ugh. Jesus God. Alright. The end of mid-tier. The Pursuer. I genuinely like Pursuer. I like Pursuer quite a bit. Especially in Scholar, when they decided to have him actually pursue you throughout the game. I like him. I think he's cool. I just think his hitboxes are a little bit too easy to go through. If you don't level adaptability at all, right? So you only have basic iframes on your roll, you can roll through every single attack this motherfucker has. No problem. He has a command grab that he rarely uses that might get you. That's the only problem you're ever going to have. If he was faster and he had a wider moveset, he would be up probably to the middle of the next tier. But I digress. That is the end of the mid-tier. It's finally time to get into what I would consider genuinely good. Let's get to it. Much smaller list. Starting off properly. Both versions of Owl. Owl has a really cool moveset, and he has fake outs. He has a fake out where he begs for mercy, and then he tries to instant kill you. It's awesome. Awesome moveset. Very good character building both times you fight him. I think they have unique movesets both times, too. They at least don't share the exact same moveset. Very nice. Champion Gunther, the better version of the first boss in DS3. You fight him in the Abyss. He has an expanded moveset. His Phase 2 is completely different. It's cool as shit. It's just a 1v1. It's awesome. The One Reborn. The One Reborn has such a cool design that even the fact that it has ads does not hold it back. Like, it's incredible what they managed to accomplish with this boss. Its design. I think it might be the best design in Bloodborne. Purely from a design standpoint, I think it's awesome. The whole coming out of the moon thing at the start, too, ugh. Every time, man. Vort of the Boreal Valley. Vort's great. I'm big on Vort. A lot of people don't have Vort tiered this high, that I've noticed, and I don't know why that is. He's got a really cool moveset, and he's a very good moveset to learn iframes for. It makes me wish he was the first boss in the game. His second phase, I've never had a problem dodging through those shoulder checks every time it comes through. I don't know if that's because I played Demons and DS1 and DS2 prior to that. But even from just a learning standpoint, it's great. Divine Dragon. Finally. It's the only giant boss in Sekiro. And they went the extra 9 miles on the spectacle of it. For everything you have to go out of your way to do to get through it. It works really well for what they were given. You know? Godskin Apostle. Godskin Apostle's good, man. It's much better than Noble. His moveset's a lot cooler. He doesn't have nearly as much spammy nonsense going on. The Black Flame Tornado he does might be a little bit annoying, but aside from that, I think his moveset's awesome. The both variants of Crucible Knight, the one with the shield and the one with the spear. Pretty good. Once you learn that moveset, it's like the easiest thing to understand in the world. The only problems you're going to have is some of the variants have unique incantations they can do. I'm thinking of the Hook Claw grab attack that some of them can do, and the Shoulder Spike that some of them can do. Those are problems that I always have, but that moveset is one of the most fun to learn I've ever had. The Sword Saint Ishin. Final boss of Sekiro. 3 phases, varied up moveset each time, very cool atmosphere. Everything about it works pretty well. It just makes me wish lightning didn't work the way it did in Sekiro. If you did not have to take damage from the initial lightning in order to, like, repel it back at the attacker, I would like that game a lot more. I don't understand why they taught you a mechanic that has required damage, but anytime I've ever seen anyone fight Ishin, they tend to just avoid taking part in lightning at all. It's neither here nor there. I prefer doing it because it looks cool. I just wish I didn't have to heal because of it. Lasigisax and Fortisax. We're getting into the point where dragon bosses are finally cool. That's probably because they bothered to actually give them very unique movesets compared to previous bosses in other games. I think the spectacle of both of them is really cool. I think stuff they do is very unique. They let you fight King Ghidorah in a Souls game, for God's sake. Dear God. Radahn. Radahn's good. I have trouble, personally, like, timing the dodges on his sword swings because a lot of them are very, very delayed. But Radahn's good. In addition, the whole spectacle you get if you do summon the NPC army to go at him, very cool. Even the 1v1, that moveset is not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, especially if you know what you're doing. Radahn's good. Much better than Malenia. I guess that sorts it out with the lore as well, but I guess either way. Cleric Beast. Cleric Beast is a good first boss. It makes me wish Bloodborne had an actual tutorial for you to learn the game from. You know? Same way Demon Souls did, where you did like a prologue, like, I hesitate to say chapter, but I guess dungeon? Is that what you'd call it, the start of Demon Souls? Something like that? I like Cleric Beast. It's a good moveset. The only thing it does not teach you about the game going forward is parrying with the gun. If it did that, it would be a perfect first boss. Genichiro. Both versions of Genichiro. Genichiro is the best boss in Sekiro. Everything you need to learn about Sekiro, Genichiro does. In spades. His moveset's really cool. He's a good rival character to have. It makes me wish you had to fight him at least one more time. He's great. He's everything that game should be. Ligarius. The only problem I have with Ligarius is the unwieldiness of the rooftop you have to fight him on top of. Because the fact that the roof is uneven kind of fucks with the pacing a little bit. Aside from that, cool moveset. He does a lot of things that no other boss in that game does. I think he's the only boss in the game that has a sword. Need to fact check on that. Pretty sure, though. Mohg. Lord of Blood, the proper version of Mohg. That Phase 2 helps a lot, and it's much better than the other version of the boss / Phase 1. Proper boss fight with a devil-type character. Right? That's the vibe I got from that second phase. It's like, oh, that's Satan. The only problem I have with Mohg is the required damage you have to take when he does his knee heal. And I think having to take up a flask slot to avoid a good chunk of that damage is kind of bullshit. But the moveset itself is incredible, and I wish it just wasn't for that one thing. Frida. Frida's great. The only reason Frida is this low is because of the second phase. I don't like having to fight Father Ariandel on top of that. I feel like it takes away from the boss fight more than anything. If it was just Phase 1 into the Phase 3, I'd probably move her up to Great. But as it stands, cool moveset, good callback to a couple of previous bosses in the series, like Priscilla, and like another boss we'll get to later. She's just neat. So you know what I was saying before about ads that I think are genuinely cool to put in a boss fight? Alana, the Squalid Queen. Second to last boss in the Crown of the Sunken King, DLC for Dark Souls 2. She summons another boss from the vanilla game. And I think she's the only time in the franchise that a boss has been able to do that. Is the sickest shit in the world. And I wish that's how it was handled every single time. Good boss fight, good spectacle. The arena you fight her in is really cool. For like it's ostensibly just a box, right? It's just a box that you fight the boss in. The detail to the environment is so bizarrely high-end compared to anything else in DS2. Nameless King. I wish Nameless King did not have Phase 1 where you fight King of the Storm. King of the Storm is mid, Nameless King is great, and they even out to just good. His regular moveset is very nice. It has a lot of spectacle. I'm going to keep repeating myself a little bit, but King of the Storms, it has the same kind of depth perception problem that the Four Kings did, because of the arena you fight them in being basically just white. So you don't know how close or far he is at some times, and for a boss you have to fight the head of specifically, that's a big problem. But the fact that Nameless King himself is as cool as he is bringing it up to good. The Thumerians in Bloodborne. These are not the same boss, they have different movesets, but they're similar enough that I can put them together here and just say they're pretty good. They're neat. I like them. Sullivan. Sullivan's good. I wish his Phase 2 worked a little bit differently. Because, from what I understand, Sullivan was originally supposed to be the final boss of DS3, and then they changed the story around in pre-production before the game came out. I wish more time had been afforded to Sullivan, because there's a mod for DS3 that gives him a third phase, and the third phase moveset he gets there is awesome, but just going by the standard that we have to work with here, Sullivan is good. I wish he had more time in the oven. Gascoigne. Gascoigne's awesome. The fact that he turns into a werewolf halfway through the fight is awesome. The fact that you can play his daughter's music box to stun him for a few seconds is awesome. The Phase 1, where you're just... It's not a player moveset. It's a rare time they tried to recreate the player moveset without actually using it. Because he's noticeably much more experienced and stronger than you are at that stage in the game. So of course he doesn't stun as easily, but he's doing the same things you're capable of doing. And I think that's really cool. Ava, the King's Pet, the first boss in the third DS2 DLC. 3. Ava's cool. I think Ava is the closest we've gotten since Sif for making a boss that's kind of like Sif. It's the only big four-legged animal boss fight that I think comes close. Because it's sure as hell not the Red Wolf. It's sure as hell not the Rat Dog. Ava is very neat, assuming you actually went through the majority of the DLC prior to fighting him. If you did not, the boss will be invisible, and while that is technically possible to beat it, it is not advised. Moon Presence. Final boss of Bloodborne. Moon Presence is cool, he's just too easy. That's my main issue with Moon Presence. He is way, way too easy. He has one attack that he starts doing at low health that brings you down to 1 HP and gives you a full bar of recoverable health. You could just ignore that and heal regularly. And that kind of trivializes it. He basically just casts one Winged Angel. Brings you down to 1 HP. Just completely ignore that. Heal. Non-threatening boss. If he was harder to any extent, he would go up a full tier, I would say. Velstadt. Velstadt is kind of similar to Gascoigne. He's an attempt at recreating a player moveset to some extent. It's just that he suffers from the same problem that a lot of bosses in these games have, where they made a boss that is of similar size to your character, but is, like, still twice the size of your character. His moveset's fun to learn, right? His phase 2, when he, like, gives into the darkness or whatever, is very neat. I like him. And I like the idea that he's the last bastion of defense from what became of Vendrick. Speaking of defense of Vendrick, Looking Glass Knight, or Mirror Knight if you prefer. Probably the coolest boss arena in DS2 if I'm being honest. The rainy, rooftop of the castle, very good backdrop. Kind of a basic moveset, but the lightning attacks he does are cool, and the fact that he can summon a player-type NPC. I think this is the best version of, like, being able to summon an actual invader into a boss fight, by the way. We haven't really talked about that, because we skipped over Old Monk, which kind of started the whole tradition in the not a boss tier. Old Monk is not a boss because it's just a player or a player-type NPC. For Looking Glass Knight, it complements it well, because the NPC that it summons has reduced stats to make the thing a little bit more lenient for you. But as it stands, Looking Glass Knight is good. I wish it didn't have that gimmick at all. That, or I wish it had a more expansive moveset, but I think the environment's helping it out a lot. Soul of Cinder. Final boss in DS3. Soul of Cinder is good. I wish it rattled through more potential movesets. There are a few that it's missing. For, like, being the embodiment of every single, like, previous player. Like, that's the whole thing. It's a boss that was designed to have the capabilities of every player that had ever, like, touched the series. It's missing knives, it's missing katana, and it's missing giant curved sword. It's a little bit too easy. Like, I popped off back in the day, right? When it switched over to Phase 2 and Gwyn's piano started coming in. I think the member berries are a little bit too much, but I think it manages to work out pretty well. Again, I've played modded versions of Soul of Cinder that are very, very cool, that are extensively better. If we were making a tier list of just mod bosses, a lot of them would go into the good category. Good or higher, I would say, but Soul of Cinder's good, as it stands. I wish it was a little bit better for being the conclusion of that story, but this is neither here nor there. Manus. Final DLC boss in DS1. Manus is pretty good. You can summon Sif for this fight, and I think that's really cool. Some of his AoE spells are a little bit nonsensical if you don't have the item that makes the fight easier. Because if you have that, you can just, like, pelvic thrust and repel the dark magic. But he's pretty good. He has one attack that gets you into a combo loop, kind of like a move that Soul of Cinder has, oddly enough. Kind of fitting I put them together then, huh? But yeah, I like it. Ornstein and Smo, the best duo boss fight the series has ever had. Kind of. Sort of. Complicated. I appreciate they don't come at you at the exact same time, and I appreciate the Phase 2 being what it is. I wish you fought one and then the other, and then you fight both of them, and then the regular Phase 2 happens, but that's just a matter of preference. As it stands, good boss. Ornstein's way cooler. Dark Lurker. Best boss in vanilla DS2. Dark Lurker is not a dual boss fight, but it can summon a copy of itself. I wish this boss had more lore attached to it, because there's not really a lot to know about it, you know? It does, like... You ever watch the Dragon Ball Z movie, the one with the fusions? You ever watch, I forget the name of the movie. The one with Janemba. It throws spells through portals, and the spell comes out of a portal next to you. And that's like the hypest shit I've ever seen. Very good boss. Gwyn, final boss, DS1. Gwyn's pretty good. I think the atmosphere of the tragedy of the whole thing of seeing what is ostensibly Zeus reduced to like a lifeless husk of a man is cool. And I wish there was a little bit more to it, because the fact that you can parry him doesn't help. I wish you couldn't parry him. It makes the fight too easy. You know? I wish he had, like, lightning spears that you see him throw in the opening cinematic. Soul of Cinder mended that a little bit. He could do that when he switched over to Gwyn's moveset, but as it stands, Gwyn is a good boss fight. Bordering towards great. Sif. Sif good. I think Sif is the best boss in vanilla DS1. I think everything about the atmosphere working up to it works very well, especially if you did the DLC prior to fighting Sif, so you get the extra cutscene variant. I think the fact that Sif starts limping around at low health is the saddest thing in the series. Very good atmosphere, very good moveset. The only issue I ever had with Sif is the, she does like a double 360 spin attack. Like, every time I've ever fought Sif, the first one blew through the block, and the second one always hit. And every time I fought the boss without a shield, for some reason, the timing on it was fucked up, and the second one still hit me anyway. I guess it's neither here nor there. More of a me issue, right? Okay. Flame Lurker. Second... no. Second best normal boss in Demon Souls. Flame Lurker is the best example of a big bruiser brawler character that you fight in these games. It does not do constant fire buildup. It just goes and punches you. And that's awesome, especially for a demon that looks like this. I appreciate the 1v1. I think the arena is cool. It basically looks like a hellscape. In addition, the fact that you get the Fist of God weapon, like, in the hallway leading up to Flame Lurker, from what I remember, makes me think they want you to have a boxing match with this thing. And I think that's hype as shit. Ludwig. Best boss in the good category. Ludwig has the best theme song of any boss in this entire franchise. That being said, I think Ludwig the Accursed is just fine. Ludwig the Holy Blade is great. And they even out here to just good. On the bordering edge of great. If it was just the Holy Blade, if that was the whole boss fight, probably put this in the middle of great tier, but counting the first phase on top of it, Ludwig is the best the good category has to offer, and that music is helping it a lot. It's incredible, man. It makes me long for any potential PC release of Bloodborne, to see what modders could possibly do to this. The things modders have done with DS3 over the years are, like, insane. Penetrator. Second best boss in Demon Souls. First boss of the Great category. It's just a 1v1 with an enemy that is relatively your size, and it's really cool. He gets an enhanced moveset if he does his command grab stab on you, and that's pretty cool too, and that's helping it a lot. Slave Knight Gale, final boss DLC 2 of Dark Souls 3. Gale's great. The fact that it was building up so much between forcing you to enter the Painted World for the first DLC, helping you out during the final boss of that, then leading you throughout the second DLC, helping you with a boss there, and then finally leading up to the fight with him at the end. Very awesome setup, very cool moveset, amazing atmosphere. That big, lifeless, dark desert is great. It's the only time any callback to Artorias has worked. And even then, it's just the moveset here. And that's incredible. Murgo's Wet Nurse. Underrated boss. I don't see anyone hyping up Murgo's Wet Nurse nearly as much as they should. Murgo's Wet Nurse is awesome, man! I don't get it! That moveset's awesome! That Phantom Burst duo, shade thing it does, is one of the coolest things in the game. And it counts as an attack, so you can dodge through it and avoid it entirely. The whole setup with it being what it is, it's the thing that's holding down the Nightmare of Mensis. Come on, man! Ugh. No one ever gives Genius credit in its time. Morgott, underrated boss. Great boss. Second best boss in Elden Ring. I wish he had higher stats. I wish Elden Ring ended earlier than it did. We went over it when we did the one and done playthrough. I don't like Mountaintop of the Giants or Crumbling Farum Azula. At all. At all whatsoever. I wish you fought Morgott on that throne, and then you walked through that door and you fought Hoaraloo Godfrey, and then the game was over. That's what I wish personally. But Morgott has a really cool moveset. He's a very cool character. I think he's underrated, underappreciated, and deserves more than he got. Sin. Final boss of the first DLC for DS2. By far the best dragon boss in this entire franchise. Everything about his moveset is cool. Everything about it works. Nothing about it is annoying at all. Awesome boss. Gehrman. If you don't do the extended ending, then this is the final boss of Bloodborne. Because you better collect those umbilical cores to get the actual one. Despite the fact no one ever tells you that, so you better hope to God you heard it through word of mouth back in 2015. But Gehrman's cool. The only annoyance I ever had with Gehrman was the AoE that he does is kind of much larger than I feel like it should be, but that's kind of a minor problem to have. Everything the player can do, the moveset is absolutely fantastic, and I love every moment of it. The music's great, the atmosphere is great, Gehrman as a character is great. Awesome. Orphan of Cause. Final boss in the DLC for Bloodborne. Has cartoon sound effect voices that were pitch adjusted and had a filter put over it, apparently. Learned that one recently. Good boss. Comes at you with its umbilical cord for some reason. The placenta is weaponized. Again, atmosphere, moveset. It has a phase 2 where it gets a completely different moveset. Starts doing thunder AoEs that are easy to dodge through. Very ferocious, very fitting. Has a very satisfying ending to that story. I like it a lot. Sir Alon. Optional boss in the second DLC for DS2. Sir Alon's great. Incredible moveset. Similar to Penetrator, gets an advanced moveset if it lands the command grab stab on you. But he has something that Penetrator didn't, and if you manage to drop him without ever taking damage, he commits Sudoku at the end of the fight. And that's just an amazing little detail. Cool boss. We'll get to the best that this game has to offer in a minute, but we're really getting into it. Godfrey Hoaraloo. Best boss in Elden Ring. Incredible moveset. He cradles his dead son body in his arms at the start, and the traces of grace that leave Morgoth's husk travel towards you because you are his next objective. That's an awesome detail for the start of the fight. His moveset's cool. Everything about it is awesome. Second phase is just Azura. The best instance of command grabs a boss has ever had. I love it. I wish more bosses in the game were like it. The man himself, Knight Artorias. The Abyss Walker. The one that has had boss reference after boss reference made in his name afterwards. Artorias deserves the hype. He really does. The story surrounding him, the reveal that he did not, in fact, conquer the Abyss, his characterization, it really makes me wish that the cut voice lines that he has in the game's files were there, because it just lends a lot more to it, but Artorias is amazing. He deserves every single bit of the hype people give him. I love it. Hume Knight. Final boss in DS2's second DLC. Brother of Velstadt. Great moveset. The only issue is there's like 4 statues outside of the boss room that you need to take care of with an expendable item. Otherwise, he has like health regen during the fight. That's the only thing that I have issue with. But he's so good that any problem trumps it. I love it. The story about this, like, this disgraced knight that tried to challenge the crown, was beaten back, fled to a foreign land, swore loyalty to some horrible, like, abandoned shard of darkness itself, and waited with her there as she just slowly husked into nothingness and still guards her body. I think it's awesome. I think that Phase 2 is incredible. The fact that if you're wearing Velstadt's helmet when you go into the boss fight, he gets pissed off knowing you killed his brother and goes into Phase 2 immediately, is such an underrated detail. I really hope that gimmick gets reused for the Elden Ring DLC. Because I assume you'll be able to, like, get something off of Mikola that Malenia would recognize. Please, that's a gimmick worth reusing. Awesome boss. Single boss in the Incredible tier. Final boss of the third and final DLC for DS3, the best boss in DLC in DS2. Burnt Ivory King. This comes with a caveat. Getting all of the Lost Knights throughout the DLC and going in there fully squatted up with the only surviving loyal knights to fight the Charred Knights that start spawning in that arena, then freezing over those gates, then the Burnt Ivory King himself comes out of this big Sauron gateway and has a proper 1v1 with you, is absolutely incredible. And I don't think anyone gives this boss fight the respect it deserves. It's like, it's this foundation of cooperation and loyalty being thrust against corruption and the loss of oneself that DS2 thematically is trying to get across every bit of game. I think it's a perfect culmination of everything that the game was trying to do. And I think his moveset is awesome. He has a fucking lightsaber greatsword. Ugh. Lady Maria. Second to last boss of Bloodborne's DLC. The only boss in this franchise's history that has come close to the top. Lady Maria is absolutely fantastic. She embodies everything that Bloodborne has ever tried to teach you in its gameplay. From parries, to perfect dodge timing, to getting that perfect backstab and riposte as fast as possible. The phase transitions and the music swelling along with it is perfect. The character reveal herself, just the way she looks. The fact that looking at her makes it apparent that the doll in the dream was designed after her. Because Gehrman felt so awful about what happened to his apprentice that he wanted some shred of her to exist still in reality. I think it's everything that I love about Bloodborne. It's great, it's tragic, it's dark. She's amazing to fight. But she's not quite the best. The best boss fight in this entire franchise, what I call the final boss of Demon Souls, even though it's not, False King Alon. The demon made in the image of the king. The culmination of everything awful that ever happened throughout Demon Souls. All because of this man. All because of him. This is the only time you can really point at someone specific in this franchise to explain everything you have had to deal with and every friend you have lost along the way. All because of one man. The build-up for an entire game to a direct antagonist in a game like this cannot be understated. You can place sole blame for every hardship you have endured on one person's shoulders. And I wish they did that more often. The fight itself is amazing. His moveset is absolutely fantastic. Even in something as basic as Demon Souls, they managed to eke out something truly stellar. He has a grab attack that takes away a level from you. The amount of hatred you can put on one character and have it be a perfect boss fight, and to not save that for the actual final boss. Can you imagine if the slug was just not there? And instead the arena was massive? Like the beach where the old one's body is washed up at the end of Demon Souls? If you fought the False King there, and that was the actual final boss. Perfect ending. I wish you were the final boss. Instead it was the slug. Amazing boss. 10 out of 10. Amazing. Everything about it works. I love it. And it's probably the reason I like Demon Souls as much as I do. Because I always go back and forth on whether I think Demon Souls or Bloodborne as a whole is the best in the franchise. And that's mostly down to which of those two I prefer in that given day. It's great. But I digress. That's been the whole tier list. We did it. The whole thing. The whole thing completely explained. It's been done. Wondrous. I hope everyone had a decent time. This was a little bit long of me to go like 2.5 hours of ranting. But this has been fun. Absolutely great. Yeah. Hell of a time, huh? Wow. I know, right? Wow. Let me screw with my stuff a little bit, but yeah. I think that's good. Just for the time being. So, thank you. Thanks for being here. I very much appreciate it. I hope you had a good time, everyone, because maybe I'll try streaming at noon a little bit more often, because we don't have any internet problems at present. And that was a recurring issue in times prior to this. So maybe changing times will fix that? Maybe? One can only hope, but I digress. Happy St. Patrick's Day again. I hope everyone had a good time. Don't go out and have too much fun now. Don't get too shit-faced. But thank you for being here. I very much am grateful for that. So, if you want to know streams are going to start or what we're going to be doing anything today, scroll down just a little bit, hit the link, follow me on Twitter. The YouTube is also there for VODs and highlights. Let us know you're interested in. Feel free to sub there. But we're going to call it for the time being. Thank you very, 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 very much for being here. I will catch everyone again, hopefully, tomorrow. Okay? Okay. You have a good night, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I'll see you around, everyone. Later.